In the next 6 slides, I'll present general principles for typography. Some of these I've already talked about, but I'm presenting them here as a comprehensive list. These apply to simple word processing documents as well as high-end graphic layouts. There may be things you've been doing for years that you might want to consider changing based on this list. The first is to use extra vertical space between paragraphs for readability. This extra space should be less than the normal space between lines of text. Here's how you find the setting for paragraph spacing in Microsoft Word. I use spacing before paragraphs, but you can set the spacing to be after paragraphs. Here's a screen capture of the paragraph dialog box in Microsoft Word. The spacing setting circled here is where you can adjust the space between paragraphs. Resist the temptation to insert empty paragraph returns to create spacing. If you do, down the line you'll find the editing process awkward. You'll ultimately have a lot less control over how your layout looks. For standard 12-point body copy, 6 points of spacing works well. Resist the temptation to insert empty paragraph returns to create spacing between paragraphs. If you do, down the line you'll find the editing process awkward. You'll ultimately have a lot less control over how your layout looks. Use the word processing paragraph spacing property that was just shown instead. One thing I've found annoying in creating web pages is that the standard amount of spacing that the browser uses between paragraphs is too much. It just doesn't look right. You can control this with CSS. Here's an example of the need to close up the space between paragraphs. By default on web pages, the browser inserts too much space. Don't place 2 spaces after periods. This is an important rule. Use only 1 space after a period. Proportional font technology, as you learned about earlier, knows exactly how much space to insert between the period and the next letter. 2 spaces is a holdover from days of typewriters. Computers are much smarter at using space. The browser collapses 2 or more spaces into 1 automatically, whether you like it or not. Never use the spacebar to align text or numbers. You'll never get it looking right, and it's very difficult to edit. Use left, right, center, or decimal line tabs. Use the Shift-Enter key combination to force a line break within a paragraph. The text after the line break may look like a new paragraph, but it won't be. It's still a whole paragraph, just broken up. Forcing a line break but maintaining a paragraph is important where you're using paragraph-level formatting and styles. As I just mentioned, line breaks are not the same as paragraph breaks. Creating a new line in the middle of a paragraph can be useful in many formatting situations. The BR HTML tag used to create a line break is shown here. Use styles in your software to automate formatting. They're standard in almost all software and in web authoring via CSS. I can't emphasize this enough. Over the course of your career, this could save you hundreds of hours. Styles allow you to control type parameters across an entire 600-page book with 1 click. You can assign styles to particular functional elements such as headings, body text, lists, and so forth. Avoid widows and orphans. Let me show you what those look like in practice. Here's an illustration of the concept of widows and orphans. In the case of widows, a paragraph is split between pages, with the last line only on the second page. In the case of orphans, the paragraph is split between pages with the first line only on the first page. Unless you've changed it, you'll already be avoiding widows and orphans by default in Microsoft Word. For web pages, you need to control widows and orphans manually using layout strategies and CSS. Use some kind of bullet when listing items, not hyphens. Font files usually include a lot of choices for stylized bullets. You can see examples of stylized bullets on most slides of this course. Use the automated bullets or lists feature when possible. This promotes consistent spacing and alignment and better formatting control. Align the first baselines of juxtaposed columns, even if the font sizes are different, as in this case. As you can see in the left column, the space between the top edge of the column and the text had to be decreased in the second column in order to align the baselines. Don't indent the first line of paragraphs. That became obsolete a long time ago, and it wastes space on the page, and consequently paper if you're printing it. Use the following rules when writing AM and PM. Use small caps. Put one space after the number and before the AM or PM, and put periods after each letter. Here's an example. Extended ASCII is a set of special typographic characters that's outside of the basic set of letters and numerals. I've already talked about what ASCII is. All of the extended ASCII substitutions I'm going to show you will give your documents a professional look. They're tried and true methods for making your work look better from the point of view of typography. You can find these in the Special Characters panel of Microsoft Word, and you can have Word insert them by default as you type. Here are some of the special characters that are available to use in standard word processing or desktop publishing programs. There are grammatical rules for using that it behooves you to learn if you want to produce professional-looking products. Examples of extended ASCII characters are: use an em dash instead of a double hyphen to demarcate a break of thought. Use an en dash instead of a hyphen to indicate a closed range of values, like in this example. Use curly, slanted smart quotes and smart apostrophes instead of regular quotes and apostrophes. The reason these are called smart quotes is that they know which side of a word or phrase they're on, so they use the appropriate curl character going to the right or left. Use an ellipsis instead of 3 periods. Use the copyright and registered symbols. Use real fraction characters instead of slashes. Be careful about copying and pasting these from your desktop publishing or word processing application into HTML web pages. You may get unexpected results, since HTML web pages cannot handle extended ASCII characters without using special codes for them. They only understand standard ASCII characters out of the gate. I'll show you the codes for extended ASCII characters to use on web pages in a later slide. Set the space before an italic word also in italic. It improves the spacing. Try to avoid using odd or decimal sizes of fonts like 13 point or 19.5 point, since they don't always resolve cleanly, especially for body type and web pages. Don't center align long blocks of text. You can see how bad that looks in this example. It's hard for the eye to find the beginning of the next line of text. Left align text in most cases. That's also called ragged right, meaning that each line of type is a different length in order to keep the characters and words together, making the right side look ragged. Do not justify type except for multi-column documents. Justification, in case you don't know what it is, means forcing all lines in a block of text to align to both the left and right borders. This will stretch or compress the lines of text to make it fit into the space, which for some lines may not look right. There are complex adjustments that the software will often make to make it look better, but it should not be used except in well-defined columns. Don't use all caps, ever. It's hard to read, it looks unprofessional, and it's not necessary when bold is an option. Use hanging indentation when using bulleted or numbered lists. You can see what hanging indentation is from this slide. The text flows to the next line and starts under the beginning of the previous line, not right under the bullet character. Use italic and bold sparingly. Use italic for names of published works. Do not use underline for these. That's from the old days of typewriters, and it may look like a link. Also, italic is not recommended for text on web pages. Use it only for print products. Use bold only for emphasis.